Well, welcome back to my channel and my video series of this bathroom renovation that I have started this past Monday, and today's Saturday, so this is day 6. I anticipate, just in case you're dropping in here for the first time, I anticipate about a 12-day build, maybe slightly less. I might only have 5 days left of this build, but you never really know when you start in on a project how long things are going to take, and the complexity of some of the design features and stuff take time. So there's no definitive timeline as of yet, but I anticipate today's Saturday, my last day should be Thursday. Friday would be a buffer day. So yeah, day 6 is going forward with the tiling process. Now that all the prep is, well, not all the prep, I still have to put Durock on the floor, but for all intents and purposes, the prep is finished and it is waterproof. Actually, I'm going to waterproof the rest of the floor when I get over there today. Let that set in for an hour and a half, 2 hours or so. Let it dry really good. In the meantime, I'll be setting up my wet saw and doing a lot of preliminary stuff, bringing the tile up and stuff. So yesterday, or maybe you didn't, but if you watched yesterday's vlog, you will see that I ran into a conundrum with regard to my curb top. They don't have a large enough piece of marble, the 6-inch piece of marble that I like using when I'm using marble in the shower. It's 6 foot long. I have a 7-foot shower, and so I have a 12 by 24 that I'm using in the shower, top and bottom, but I cannot use the 12 by 24 either. Normally I would just go ahead and get that bullnosed on one side, and that bullnose would be on the outside of the shower and then factory edge on the inside. That's normally how I work it, but I can't do that on this shower either because they're 24, and 24, 24, and 24 with 2, 4, 6, and I have a 7-foot shower. So today, basically what I'll be doing is, yesterday I picked up what they call OG, I call it chair rail. I'll be setting that around the niche, framing that out like a picture frame, and then I'll be doing the hexagon type marble tile that she bought on the inside of the niche on the back wall, and then trim it out on the inside with the other field tile. And so the niche will be finished setting today. I'll grout that tomorrow, and then I will jump over to the floor. The hexagon tile is going on the floor, and I will set that today. Those two things I always do first because that begets the rest of the process with running the tile up the wall. Those two things have to be done and have to be grouted before I can start doing anything else. So again, it's like a broken record. It'll be a limited day. I'll be there for 4 hours, possibly 5 tops, because those two things which I just said don't take all day to do. Now, going forward with tomorrow, yes, I can definitely run tile and spend a long time doing the wall tile after I grout everything tomorrow, or the two things that I'm doing. Then I can start running the wall tile, and it will be relatively quickly. I'll put a ledger board on and start running all the field tile up as far as I can, all 3 walls. And then in the meantime, I will be setting the backer board on the floor, and that will lead into Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. And that's it. That's what I anticipate doing, and I will, you know, again, getting back to yesterday's vlog about the waterproofing process, I don't like to be watched when I'm working by anybody, let alone the masses on YouTube. So that's one of the reasons I don't do a lot of, this is showing my work. There's other YouTubers out there that are happy to do that. You can watch them work for 30, 40 minutes, an hour, hour and a half. There's a lot of people out there that put that type of content out there. I'm not one of those, and I may or may not show some of this process today. I definitely will give some hints and some little inside scoop information in regard to when I set certain things, little tricks that I use, if I run into those. But as far as showing the whole process, no, you're not going to see that, not on my blog. So got to go to Floor and Decor again, as I said, to try and look for that curb top or some type of fashion to make a curb top, and that's it. So moving on. Alright, I am back. As I showed you yesterday, I did all the red guarding, and you see how dark red it is because 3 coats here, 3 coats in the corners, 3 coats up there, and then a couple of coats on the walls. There's also 2 coats already around the perimeter. I left this open yesterday when I left to make sure that any water content whatsoever that's still in there has a way of egress, has a way to evaporate before I encapsulate it with Red Guard. I had a fan on it running all night. The AC has been running on very low, and that's the best I can do. In an ideal world, you would probably, if you're doing your own project, you would probably let that set for about a week. I'm going to say at least 5 days. You know, the longer the better. But in the real world of a contractor, we can't wait 5 days and then come back. So I'm going to go ahead and Red Guard this surface, put 2 coats as I've done everywhere else, and get started on the tiling. As I already mentioned earlier, I will do the niche first, so that'll all be taken care of. Then I'll do the floor. That'll take me roughly, the 2 of them, probably about 3 hours or so. Once that's done, then I got to go away, and then tomorrow I'll grout that, and then yeah, start the tiling process. Okay, the process of setting the tile has begun. This is not going on the floor. This is actually going into the niche. I'm going to explain that in just a minute. Let me tell you about thin set, natural stone, and large tile, premium large format tile mortar. So I rarely buy natural stone thin set unless I have natural stone. It's twice the price. Is it a better product than what I normally get? I don't know that it's a better product. I'm not a chemical engineer, so I don't know what they're putting in there. All I know is if I'm working with natural stone, which I am, then I am buying the natural stone thin set. And I don't pay for material, so it's not a matter of being cheap, it's a matter of things work. If you go back on my channel, you'll see I don't know when I did the video, I think last year, where I had shown that I had done a tile job in Jamaica, and you know, 15 years ago when I lived there, and it's outside. I used the cheapest material, cheapest tile, cheapest thin set, cheapest grout. Nothing was sealed. 15 years later, to this day, that tile is still there outside in the open, exposed to the elements. So I'm not a firm believer that because you pay more you get a better product, but I don't take a chance when it comes to natural stone. Anyway, let me get back to this. So you will see I've marked the center of my niche, and right there is the center line. These 2 lines over here are the bottom part of my center tile, so that I know the outside part, sorry, right there, and then right there is the bottom part, so that I know that that tile is center in between. So then it's about 9 1/4 to get over there, so I'll do a straight cut of 9 1/4, my line's already drawn, and then 9 1/4 over there, my line's already drawn. There's probably 8 ways to set this tile. You could do it the other way, but inevitably it really is very subjective. When I set the tile up there, I'll have a small fill-in. The only fill-in pieces I'll have, because this area is so small, these are the fill-in pieces, the top and bottom. On the side there won't be any because I'm doing a straight cut, but they'll be different. This will be slightly smaller because it's going to sit on top, and that'll be slightly larger on there, but in the end it won't really matter. What matters is that everything is symmetrical, to me anyway. So that's how I do it. Also, I do the back tile first, and then I overlap the inside tile. And I know that's counter intuitive to some people, because then you have this horizontal grout line instead of vertical grout line. But especially with this tile, I don't want to, I can fudge this a little bit on the cut because it's going to be hidden by my bottom tile, but I can't fudge it at all if I do the perimeter of this tile first and then do the inset. But as I said, there's probably 5 or 6 ways to set this tile, and it's very subjective and on me. The way it's going to be finished, I'm not going to show the process, by the way, that's why I'm explaining everything. So the way that I'm going to be doing it is actually using this. We were going to use this fake marble on the inset part, the perimeter, but because it's slick, shampoo bottles and stuff could slide off. This has more of a texture. This is the floor tile for the bathroom floor. It's also going to be this bottom tile and top tile, if you remember the design. So I'm going to use that for the perimeter part, and then the chair rail for the outside, frame that out. And so I'm going to get started. I promised I'd show a little trick if I got to one. So when you're doing these are offset because that's a full piece right there, these trim pieces, and that's offset. And you're trying to get that 45 exactly. If you have, say, 2/3 of this is going to come off, and you, how's that going to go? Okay, so my line on this is going to go this. I'm getting confused. Other direction. So my line on this is going to go that direction, right? So I'm not going to go, say my line, and I haven't marked it yet, but say my line was right here. Okay, I wouldn't go ahead and do my 45 right there, given that there's always a possibility that my cut is off. So if that's the final product that you're looking for, don't cut that first. Go all the, look at all this room you have left over, right? This is all going to get wasted anyway. Make your cut down here, right at the corner. Then you can back up your piece all the way down to the end right there where you're going to need a straight cut. So once that's done, right, make your straight cut and you're right on point. That way you won't waste, these are like $8 each. You don't want to waste these. So you're going to waste some anyway, go ahead and do your cut there. I'm getting ready to do the floor. Have to do a little layout, figure out where all these are going to interlock into each other. A couple other little tricks now that the niche is done. This is 12 1/4, so slightly larger than 12 1/4. I cut out strips of tile in order to kind of anchor those top rows down until it dries. When it does dry overnight, you know, things expand and contract, and probably 2 or 3 of these will be on the floor in bits and pieces. It won't hurt the floor, it won't hurt anything. You can put some cardboard down or something, or knowing that those pieces are going to fall, you can set something there. Anyway, that's how I set those. You'll see little pieces of cardboard, not cardboard, but whatever it is from a box that I use as spacing. I'm using screws to hold everything up at the bottom. And by the way, when you put those on there, because this tile is still set in there with thicker thin set, this is already anchored with the screws. Set those pieces right up on there. Those screws come out, little holes get caulked in afterward before you continue on tiling, and that's about it. A couple other little tricks. I'm going to get started on this. Should have this wrapped up in about an hour and a half or so, and then I'm out of here. Okay, one last thing before I actually set this tile. The tile's not set. This is a dry fit, dry layout, if you will, and I highly recommend doing this because this is going to tell you exactly where your tile is going to line up, where your cuts are going to be. I've got some cuts back there, probably about 9 of them. I have the same 9 over here, and then these little triangular ones I'm not going to worry about because by the time everything is grouted and the tile sets down on that, then yeah, I'm not too concerned about that. You could do those little tiny ones, but trust me, it'll drive you crazy trying to get them in there. Anyway, where the drain is, the tile will be cut out of there, and then going forward, every single tile around it and next to the drain cap will actually get individually tapered down into the drain. So this kind of gives you an idea. 2 things that the dry fit does: lets you know exactly where your tile is going to be, but it also confirms your slope. So then you can put your, where's up under there? I don't know what that bump is. Oh, a piece of rock. But it's going to confirm your slope. So if you know your slope is good, prior to setting your tile, you know that you can screed out your thin set, draw out your thin set as it were, without any issues of your slope. So that's the two reasons you want to do that. Very, very important, especially with this tile. Very, very busy. All right, floor is finished. The floor and the niche are finished. This took a little longer than I anticipated. I don't know why I'm giving myself such little time on a mosaic. I call this a mosaic because it's a lot of little pieces, and because it's a hexagon, it makes it even more difficult with all the cuts and everything. And then what makes it worse, you'll never really find a mosaic that in the pack, it comes in a sheet, right? That all the tile are perfectly spaced when it's on that mat that's sticking on the back. There are some areas here that the tile are really close and some of them a little far away, and it's a struggle. Whew, it really is a struggle. And because I don't do this hexagon tile very much, that was relatively easy, but this took some time. And it is done, so I'm out of here. I'm going to put a fan on it overnight. A couple of tips I can tell you real quick. Get a float. A float is for grouting. When you finally get all this down and make sure and put your level on it, make sure you don't have any low spots or whatever, you know, tap all this tile down so that the surface of the float is making all the tile even, and that goes for inside of there too. A couple other things. One of them, make sure that this is straight at different levels, and when you put the level on these things, make sure that they're level, because when you wrap your tile around that, you want that to be as level as possible. There you go. So you can also do a measurement from there to the ceiling, and from there to the ceiling, to make sure that you have an even distance. Not that you can do anything, sometimes these ceilings aren't exact, but you're trying to get this as exact as possible. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'm going to grout this tomorrow. And as I said before, I'll start running tile at some point tomorrow. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope you walked away with something on this, because this is why I do it, so that you can possibly learn from what I've already learned over the years.